Hello, everyone, and welcome back to today's episode or video of What if ASEAN united in today's time? In today's English is hard. I updated the map a little. It used to look like this, but now it looks like this. And I figured it had a lot of a softer look to it. So now we are going to begin to start with the video. First, we're going to see them invade into East Timor. Um, I'm just not gonna do any wars about it. And oh yeah, the capital layer is off. By the way, this is the capital of ASEAN. It is gonna be in Singapore, and we will actually see another invasion happen into Papua New Guinea, which I don't feel like I should really like color it in. Because right now they're underneath a militaristic district. I'm talking about ASEAN right now. Right now they're going into militaristic wars. They're not going into like oldie wars. They're going into like um militaristic dictatorships right now. As now we will even see them try to take a power play onto India. They feel like Bangladesh is a little too far, but going against into Sri Lanka would be the easiest. So we will actually see them begin to declare war onto the Asian nation of Sri Lanka, and they will begin to force their military or navy, which is the same thing, all the way over here, which will look like this. Also, if you're wondering what these islands and why they're not a part of ASEAN, it's because they're Indian islands. They're Indian-owned territories. As we will see the ASEAN nation, or Indochina, which I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to call it that, is going to go ahead and fully surround the island and begin to land troops onto the island. As we will actually see the first bit of troops over here land onto the eastern portion. I don't know if there are any mountains on this. How about rivers? No. Okay. Um, I didn't know that. Major cities, smaller major cities. Alright. As we'll actually see them quickly invade into the eastern region of Sri Lanka and a little bit into the northern region. As we will see a bunch of things happen with the Indian government saying stop this war right now, or we will heavily, what is it? It's like tariffs. Anyways, we will actually see them fully surrender after their capital gets taken over by the Asian nations. As we see the peace treaty rolling out like this, where Sri Lanka will just be fully annexed, and we will just see their capital erased. Oh, we got a little bit of blue left. Now we don't. Alright, now what is going to be their next target? Probably something in Madagascar, maybe. Like all of these islands down here. But, the only real thing I would probably see is, like, Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, and then Japan. I don't think we would see anything else happen. They would just create a thing where we can actually just see China, North Korea, Pakistan, Kazakhstan. There's a very low chance for India to join because they're blocking off many major ports and they're putting like tariffs on those. It would be hard to say what would happen next, but let's just say that the uh we're gonna do a nerfed down version of China along with North Korea. They are already heavily nerfed. But let's just say for some reason India joined on their side for some reason. Like say, oh hey, we know what you're trying to do, but we would like to be peaceful with all of y'all. So would you consider taking that option? So they said, we'll think about it. They say, yeah, sure. You'll join us on one condition. You do not have any tariffs on any of the supplies between our trades. And that goes for every single nation in this alliance, which Japan is happily agreeing to it. So is South Korea, and basically the entire alliance is for it. Until we actually see China be like, oh wait, what are you doing here? You are not supposed to be on their side. I thought y'all were gonna be enemies. It goes into anime mode because Korea and South South I was about to say South Japan. Ooh, that would ooh, okay. No spoilers. But we will actually see the entire alliance declare war onto the Chinese alliance, which right now only consists of Kazakhstan, um, North Korea, and the main alliance member, China. As there would probably be not much movement onto the Indian side. Now, let's say Korea, Pakistan joined onto the Chinese side, and this is hypothetical for right now, but let's just say they just go to war. So the darker highlighted regions up here are mountains, and the blue things going through are rivers, as you can tell. But we will see India quickly begin to move through the southern regions of Pakistan and capture these two major cities and get pretty close to claiming three, almost four. Up here, on the other hand, is where India and no, just India are going to be losing, as Pakistan and China would probably be moving into these territories heavily, as we would probably even see the Indo-Chinese nation right here probably send a few troops before sending a bunch of troops themselves, which go ahead and collect this island, and they move around this coast trying to, I don't know, man, do something. As they would free Hong Kong and Macau, and I know this is like very rushed, but oh well, as they would quickly move through a bunch of these territories, and they would begin to help India with their movements on this side. So yeah, things aren't really looking well for China until we look up, which finally we would see a bunch of movement happening onto the South Korean front, as they would reach all the way down over here and try to surround, which they do successfully. Which now the capital city of South Korea, Seoul, is now fully surrounded, which would make it a siege. Yes, smart words. Yes. Now we'll finally see the Chinese military begin to make a move. The Chinese naval military, to be more exact, and we would see them move all the way down to completely surround all of Taiwan. But due to how ASEAN is, Indochina is mostly just islands, you could probably expect a huge amount of the naval military is going to be successful for them. So let me just go and draw a few lines for you. Alright, I just got done with the naval capacities for all these nations that they have set out. And once you see how big the red nation or red team's nations are, or red team's naval capacity is, you'll begin to realize how big their navy truly is. As their navy is stretching, this is all the Red Alliance, by the way, from the northernmost point in the Japan and the Kuril Islands, all the way down to, I can't remember, Tuvalu, I think. Stretching all the way across through the Papua New Guinea Island, Borneo, Java, forgot Jakarta, going to Sri Lanka, and then into India. Which now it kind of seemed a little major whenever you realize this. We can continue on to the actual fighting portions. As over here, India will begin to destroy the navy of Pakistan, which gets real bad for them as they're barely holding on. And they basically eradicate their navy, and they make a few landings, which most were unsuccessful except for this far western region, which they begin to try to connect with the mainland territory or occupation zones. Which now the actual occupation zone has stretched across from the entire eastern side of this river. And India is loving it. Pakistan, on the other hand, is hating it because they've lost all major water ports. Yeah. As now they've completely captured all of Kashmir, which seems like a great gain for Pakistan. In reality, it was just a useless feat, as India will begin to travel up through these rivers, trying to contain all sides. As one area is going to be contained over here, and then expand up to this river, then go across here, and then last bit is going to be the capital regions. So yeah, this is their plan from India, which they begin to do the first part of the plan successfully, and they begin to repel troops on their own territory. Up till right there, and everything looks well until they reach to this last major city on this last front, which is extremely close to the outer regions of this capital. And India decides to go in and activate step 3, which is to cut across this entire region across here or up here. And they haven't even started down here yet. So this entire western occupation zone will begin to move up and capture all of these zones successfully and reach this major city. And they basically just connect. Yeah, it's not looking for good for you, so they'll just go and surrender, hoping for a peace treaty that'll actually last them for quite a bit. And now India is beginning to move through the harsh regions of the Himalayan mountains, though they are moving barely any, but they still want to show that their military is extremely successful, which will prove them useful. We will have one nation leaving this war, and it will be Kazakhstan. Yeah, they didn't find themselves useful in this war. Now I'm gonna go turn off mountains and rivers, but we will see the South Koreans begin to move up, but that was before Seoul was captured, which was a huge morale boost to the North Koreans, but it was a great loss to the Southern Koreans, which boosted up their morale heavily, or like their bravery, I guess that's one way to put it. And they basically just charged through, which was really frightening, not only to the Koreans, or not only to the North Koreans, but also to the Chinese. And China realizes they might not win this war. And Taiwan is fully liberated. Yeah, basically all of these zones up here are now fully controlled. Oh, this is not looking for good for them. And they begin to move upward. And upward all the way over here. And further, where they capture Pyongyang. And they begin to move through the Manchurian areas. Boom. And boom. They decide to surrender. Yeah. Second most powerful nation has lost to the, I want to say fifth, maybe sixth, were the Indochina, and the fourth most strongest nation. Okay, here's how I do my rankings right now. Right now, Russia is in third because it's obvious at this point. China's in second, obvious, and then we got USA. And then everything else is just hypothetical for Indochina. But other than that, that's just leaderboards. Now we can fully move on to peace treaty time. Alright, I just got done with the peace treaty, and I think I like this. So now the most land, I'm gonna let y'all put that down in the comments, let y'all figure out who got the most amount of land. But Korea is now, or like South Korea is now Korea. They are best Korea. And Taiwan is now officially recognized by the PRC, and no one can deny it now. It is now in writing, and a lot of the land that the Indo-Chinese were going to get originally were actually decided diplomatically rather than forcefully taken, and instead we actually see them only getting this much. In reality, they were supposed to get this much, all the way where Taiwan gets the most over there, like gets this bit of land. Now India, you are the outlier of the group. You separated Pakistan and China, and you got rid of their major water port over here. If we just take a look at major cities and rivers, you can actually see they took over the major river over here, which they felt like was too cruel. But Indochina actually decided that that was the best idea. But now this is what we see their group looking like in the further future. If we kept this video going, which I won't, we would probably see them invade into Bangladesh. A lot of it would be transferred over to India to make up for the amount of, for like Sri Lanka. Um, that that would look like that. I think Nepal and Bhutan would get invaded. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just assuming like they would get invaded. Nepal, like I said beforehand, would get invaded like this. Where now India looks like this. China would fall tremendously after losing a lot of major areas down here. And Indochina would probably take all of these areas down over here. Maybe even a large portion of Australia, like these portions of Australia. And perhaps even the Northern Island of New Zealand, which would probably allow both of these countries right here unite and perhaps be a puppet state of the Indo-Chinese. But this is going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. And I'm trying to, come on, come on. Oh my gosh. That is going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.